Welcome back, Cardinal fans. I'm here with Coach Rivers. We're in the Rusty Coles Fieldhouse the Wednesday before the Handley playoff game. Coach, congratulations on 9-1 regular season. Another school-broken record. I mean, that's one of many this year. The final game versus UMS Wright was another exciting football game, obviously. The game started and ended with defensive stands from both teams. But it was really the St. Michael defense that made the difference in the game. They set up the first two possessions with the first one with a Cam Kirkwell interception, and then a stop and a 3-and-out on the next drive and negative 16 yards for the UMS offense and forcing a punt. That allowed for us to score pretty fast and allowed us to be in the lead first. We had Cam, Ollie, and Nick as our WCN players of the game. Could you just speak about the defense and their performance against UMS?
Yeah, I thought you touched on obviously the two early stops and then obviously the real big stop there at the end of the game, and really held them to 7 in the second half, as were we held to 7 in the second half. But I thought our defense, where we haven't tackled great this season, and we struggled to stop the run. I say that we were also playing the toughest opponents of the season in terms of running the football. When you look back to Jackson, Mobile Christian, and Pensacola, and so I felt like though we weathered that storm. We went 2-1 in that stretch, and then you get to Orange Beach and UMS, and I feel like we played better defensively the last 2 weeks. So we want to be playing our best ball end of October and into November, and I do think our defense is headed in that direction for sure.
Yes, sir. Ollie Deese, senior safety, he ended up tied with total tackles with Cam Kirkwell. Can you just tell us about Ollie's leadership throughout the season?
Ollie's been Ollie's turned into the communicator out there in terms of getting guys lined up and directing traffic on the back end, as you mentioned, he's right there at the top of the leaderboard in tackles every week, and he's downhill and doesn't shy away from contact. So Ollie's been a guy that's contributed now for throughout his whole high school career, and he's had a heck of a senior year.
And also, I want to mention Toby Edmondson. He and Ollie are kind of the two starting seniors on defense. He had a great season. He had 52 tackles on the season. He's kind of been just like a big giant on defense, really just doing his assignment and lining up well. Can you kind of expand on Toby's career? Yeah,
well, Toby's just kind of the puts his hard hat on and comes to work. He's been from D-line to linebacker to back to D-line to back to linebacker to back to D-line. He just kind of it's whatever you need from him, he's willing to do, and that's kind of the Edmondson way. They come to work and they're team players and they're going to give you all they got. So Toby's had a heck of a senior year, and again, he's shuffled as I alluded to from that linebacker to D-line role, but he had one of his better games last week as well. Obviously, had the big sack on the second stop of the game, and was really reckless there at the defensive front position.
The past few weeks we've gone up against some pretty good offensive lines and also running backs. UMS was a very run-heavy offense, only 16 attempts and 122 yards through the air. This was a great experience for our defense, and it should really help our defense as we enter postseason play. They say defense wins championships. Is our defense coming together good right now?
Yeah, no, I think we've done nothing, but our schedule has to have helped us, both sides of the ball. But, you look at our region, and then in addition to our non-region schedule, the multiple looks we've seen, the different styles and really good running backs we've seen, quarterbacks that can run as well. We're about as prepared and equipped as we can be heading into the playoffs. So, hopefully one thing we've done better the last couple of weeks is play complementary football. Hopefully we can continue that against Handley.
The first two stops in that UMS game allowed our offense to score first. Can you tell us the advantages of playing with a lead instead of coming from behind?
Yeah, no, it helps. And then a lot of times this year, we've taken the ball and scored first as well. It's definitely, you want to be playing from ahead. It definitely beats coming from behind. But I think that'll be a critical this week as well. This team is a lot like UMS in terms of style, and so if we can get ahead on them, it certainly can put them a little bit out of their comfort zone.
Absolutely. The offense had 3 scoring drives that were less than 2 minutes, but then when we needed it the most, we almost took up a whole 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. On one 11-play drive, although the drive ended a punt, it really put UMS kind of in a hole, both with field position and clockwise. Can you just speak toward the offensive efficiency against UMS?
Yeah, no, it was good. We sputtered. You mentioned we sputtered a little bit in the second half, only scored 7 points. I really thought we probably could have got to 49 in that game. But again, find a way to win is the name of the game. And then you mentioned the 11-play drive, really to close it out. And we kind of got a tic-tac holding call that kind of a phantom holding call that called back that run that Noah would have been down to like the 1. Or I don't even know. Somebody said he scored, but anyway, nonetheless, it would have really closed the game out there with the ball in our hands. But we managed the punt situation, and then our defense was able to get the stop. So in hindsight, I'm glad it ended the way it did because it gave our defense another opportunity to be out there with the game on the line and get them stopped.
Now we kind of looking forward to the playoff season, and kind of in a sense, it is a whole new season almost. We start with Handley just like last year. Is there kind of extra motivation as a kind of a payback game, or is this a playoff game motivation enough?
Yeah, the postseason in football, really in anything, is weird, right? Because you're only guaranteed one game, so it's one game seasons, one at a time. We're the only repeat round 1 matchup from last year in any classification. So it's kind of crazy because, the state mixes which regions cross with who. So we crossed with Region 4 last year. Well, we're crossing with Region 3 this year. Handley was in Region 4 and moved to Region 3. So that's how we ended up even having that possibility of playing those guys again. But, I don't know if it's so much payback, but there's an element, there's a feeling a little bit of that we owe those guys something. We went up there a long way and had a rough night. So now they gotta make that same trip down our way. And, we've had a lot of first. You mentioned a lot of first. First 9-win season, first region win in 2021, first playoff appearance last year, first home playoff game this year. So it's time for a first playoff win. So that'd be nice to get another first in getting that done against Handley on Thursday.
We played some very close and very exciting games this season. Does that type of experience during the regular season translate well for postseason play on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, until you feel that, it's just hard to put yourself in those situations until you actually feel it. And you'd much rather feel it during the regular season than feel it for the first time in a game that's win or go home. So I do think we felt it against Pensacola. We felt it against UMS, and we felt it against John Carroll early in the year when we were down and had to score there late, a touchdown pass to Cooper Kurth, and then get another stop on defense. So we've had our share of close ones. Mobile Christian, we had to close one out. So we've had our share of close games and our share where we've kind of put teams away. But I couldn't be more pleased with how the regular season went minus one game and what I think it's done for us. I just really don't know that we could have gotten any more accomplished. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could have made better plays in every game, of course. Yeah. But I think from what we got done and the reps we have and the practice we got in so many different situations, we're as equipped as we could be heading into the postseason.
Handley, a similar offensive style to UMS, a very run-happy offense. What kind of athletes does Handley have in the backfield, and how does our defense match up with them?
Yeah, very similar to UMS. Probably a little more speed, but very similar in terms of style. They're the same offensive scheme as they ran last year. It's a lot of two tight end kind of sets, two wings, and running counter and power and those types of things. And so it's going to be a challenge. The tailback, they moved number one to tailback kind of mid-season. It looked like he was playing tight end and outside linebacker, and he's really kind of gave him a spark. Big, long guy, tough to tackle. Similar body style to Pensacola's running back, not as big. Mm-hmm. Probably not as fast, but good. Running back's a big man that can run. Again, they don't throw it a ton. So, but they got some different offensive line. Last year their offensive line was built on size. I mean, they were just big old guys that would ball you. This year, it's a little more of your smaller, scrappier, tough, get after it kind of guys, and but good. So it's a little different in terms of body type, but similar in scheme.
Handley defense is allowing only 24 points per game, and the St. Michael offense averages around 36 points per game. Does any of that matter now that we are in a win-or-go-home game situation, or do we stay aggressive with the play calling and control the tempo?
Yeah, no, I think we got to score. I mean, so one of those has got to give, right? And again, our defense could play lights out, and we may not need but 7, who knows, right? Or we could need 47, and so I think we always say from a defensive mentality, we got to hold them to 1 point less than our offense scores. And then you flip and talk to the offensive guys, we got to score 1 more point than our defense gives up, and so it's just that we're in this thing together, protect the team, I got your back deal. And however many we need to score on offense, we got to score. And however many we need to hold them to, we better do it. So it's that kind of mentality, because you just don't know what kind of game you're going to be in. But they do have a solid defense, and they're very stack the box, man-to-man coverage. We'll see. I mean, they did it to us last year, and they've done it all season this season.
Yes,
so
sir.
some teams, they are who they are, right? And they say, well, we've given up 24 points a game, and we believe we're going to outscore you. And so we'll see. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the matchups there in the passing game, and then how they account for Noah in the backfield.
Kind of one final question here, Coach. Handley has to travel to us this season. How special is it to host our first playoff game in the new stadium, have the home crowd advantage that comes with hosting a game?
Yeah, I think it's it can be probably overstated, but I do think that there is no doubt about it. It is a big to be at home, and there is an advantage from a travel standpoint, player-wise, team-wise, logistics, and then also you mentioned. I mean, our crowd's been great. I would expect it to be even turned up a notch even more, because it being a playoff game and having a chance to win our first playoff game and being here on campus. And we hope we moved to Thursday. Obviously, the hurricane out there that nobody knew which way it was going to go, and it took a hard dive west. And so hopefully the weather cooperates for us, because I think it's going to be one of those games where for us it's going to be we're going to run it, and we are going to run it, but it's going to be one of those where we're going to need to spread it out and throw it all over the place. And so hopefully the weather's conducive to that. And then defensively, again, we just got to find a way to get stops, right? Bend but don't break, eliminate the big plays, and find a way to get a few takeaways. We've done that now. We did that against, we've gotten a few takeaways the last couple of weeks, and hopefully we can keep that trend going. Well, thank you for joining us, Coach. This has been Mitchell Swanson and Coach Rivers from the Rusty Coles Fieldhouse. Play Handley, 7 o'clock on Thursday. Be there. St. Michael, defend us.